Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Guess Who's Bak. I am your host this evening, Chase Geiser, joined by my esteemed co-host, Steven Bak, whose family came over here by crossing the seven seas.
The Mayflower.
The Mayflower, ladies and gentlemen. He was the only one on board that didn't have a job. But they still let him ride cabin, baby. They gave him his own room and everything. What an honor and a pleasure it is to be with you, Steven Bak, as we talk about the end of the world happening right before our eyes. Are you ready to rock and roll? I sit down with Bak today. He goes, man, there's just not really that much news. There's just not really that much going on. It's just more war in Iran stuff. Well, of course, the war is escalating in Iran. We got a little bit of news here, a little bit of news there, some details here, some details there. I said, Bak, in the wise words of Alex Jones, there is no such thing as a slow news day. And when there is no news, we make the news. We are the clip. We are the news. And Honey Badger is the single-handed savior of this network. Thank you, God, for Honey Badger. Honestly, not. He's probably going to be pissed off that we started 13 minutes early. But what are we waiting for? I'm sick and tired of waiting around. Aren't you, Bak? I feel like I've been spending my whole life just eking by. Like that scene from Dumb and Dumber. I know you love it when I make pop culture references to movies. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of just eking by as I watch war after war after war. Travesty after travesty, death of senator after death of senator. It is such a shame to see. I don't want to just watch it happen anymore. I want to be part of the story, which is why I've launched the Chase Geiser Network, which sometimes works. So anyway, things are escalating in the Middle East. We've got massive war going on. We got Twitter and Nikita Bayer coming out and saying that they're going to have a special little category for updates on the war in the Middle East. There's bombing happening all over the Middle East. Iran is getting pummeled, and this is like, what, the 500 millionth time that we've allegedly won this war, when all we ever wanted were the wars to end. But the war cannot end. As long as we have a currency that's built off of a lie, as long as we have a fiat currency built off of the petrodollar, we must have war. And you know what? Honestly, it's okay that innocent children have to die so long as we can keep our global reserve status. I mean, imagine how terrible things would really be if we lost the currency status that we have in the United States of America. I mean, we sometimes have to sacrifice innocent small children in order to justify the perpetuation of the likes of the Turning Point United States of America. We have to sacrifice little children in order to ensure that that poor widow, Erica Kirk, can sustain herself and her millions upon millions of dollars as she pretends not to be a superficial sociopathic whore. And I know those are kind of harsh words, but can you honestly trust any bitch who wears fake contacts to make her eyes look blue when they're really brown? She's denied her German roots. She's trying to go full Aryan in a time when she just doesn't have the genetic expression to justify such a behavior. But right now, yes, we're in war in the Middle East, and right now there's updates and just groundbreaking news like so-and-so artist that was famous so-and-so 10 years ago had a cocaine rock pop out of his nose. And we just bomb, and we bomb, and we bomb. As Bak and I sit here and watch and document the end of the world. This is the apocalypse happening right before our eyes. And unlike Revelation, which does say what is going to happen, it does not encapsulate all that is to happen. It did miss one very important specific detail about the nature of the end of the world. What is that detail, you may be asking? Well, that detail is that there would be one called Bak, and there would be one called Chase, and they would be broadcasting and documenting the entire event of the apocalypse. All that's left is for Jesus Christ to descend from the sky, for a sword to extend from his mouth, and for his words to bring the wrath of God upon the face of the planet Earth. A planet which is not long for this universe, as it seems to be rotating itself into a fractal abyss. An ever-continual, infinite spectrum of patterns that match patterns that match patterns on both a micro and a macro scale. We are descending into the infinite abyss, the abyss we have stared into far too long, and it was not written that Steven Bak would be here to document the entire process, that Chase Geiser would be here to document the entire process, and thank God for our regular listeners. and those who have gone to chasegeiser.com to support this broadcast and this transmission as we make fun of our political establishment for its closet homosexuality and overt warmongering. Because there's nothing gayer than war. Bak, what do you have for us this evening?
I have a $2 super chat from Honey Badger that says, I'm already here. He was already in the chat.
I knew it.
And then we have people complaining that you are a disrespectful son of a bitch.
Well, tell them to go fuck
that's
themselves.
why I love you.
Go watch CNN, you fags. Go watch CNN. I don't give a fuck.
Oh
I don't care if there's only 3 people watching this fucking show. You think I do this for you? I'm not here for you, motherfuckers. You're here for me. Go on.
Yeah, Jesus doesn't have he has a spear in his second coming.
The sword comes out of his mouth, trust me.
No, it's a spear.
Look it up. Just fucking ask Grok, dude. I'm not fucking kidding, dude. I was in a Christian cult growing up.
It's a spear.
No.
It's not a sword.
No, he probably has both.
A sword and a spear?
Yes. Does a sword come out of Jesus' mouth in the book of Revelation? And don't call it Revelations because that really pisses off the evangelicals. Yes, he does, motherfucker. I read it. In the book of Revelation, a sharp, double-edged sword is repeatedly described as coming out of Jesus' mouth, which is the specific reference that I made. This is a prominent image in the visions of the glorified Christ. Revelation chapter 1, verse 16. In his right hand, he held 7 stars, and coming out...
All right, well, fuck you then. It's a sword.
I was right.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's all right.
Unless you substituted
No, I appreciate you
sword
pushing
for
back.
spear.
I don't know. He probably has a spear in like another verse, but I just know that the sword comes out of his mouth.
Okay.
It's probably a metaphor for like his words cutting and judging, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Am I too much? I can
no,
talk,
you're not too much
I can
at
reel
all.
it in.
No, I thought it was... What? I didn't say that
You want me
at
to
all.
reel
I
it
thought
in?
it was a spear.
You want me to be nice? You want to be like, this just in? And do like the standard, like, you know, Megyn
We're at
Kelly.
the beginning of Revelations.
You want me to do like the Jack Posobiec, Benny Johnson thing? Like, it's just terrible.
Well, lie about what you saw in the court and hype it up in an influence campaign to sway public opinion?
I don't want to call Posobiec a liar. He's always been nice to me, but it's questionable.
All right, well, I'll call him a liar then. I don't give a shit. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. Thanks for saving our country and then telling us you saw updated 4K footage of him pulling the trigger, and then people immediately pushing back and saying, hey, that's not true.
Yeah, but where's the 5K footage, Jack?
You know?
Just escalate.
Yeah.
Why isn't it 5K? It's 2026.
I don't think you're going to get 5K until 6G goes in.
5KKK.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's happening? I'm so far behind.
What's happening is what's been happening. There will be no short-term ceasefire. I was wrong. And the war is now expanding to suck in Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and the city-states of Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, which is a country, not a city-state, and probably all the militias that they have in western Iraq. And this is just going to be a never-ending black hole, and your anus is going to get sucked into this financially.
I just want the listeners to know that they are in store for a massive, massive swath of incredible content from Steven and I over the course of the next 2 weeks. Do you have any idea what's going to happen after my Adderall script refills on Friday?
I've gotten used to Chase Unhinged right now.
You like it better?
I don't know which one I like. One's
Every
more
time
productive.
I unplug, I feel self-conscious. I feel kind of naked in front of you when I'm not on Adderall.
The other's
when I'm
funnier.
on Adderall, it's like wearing clothes. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm supposed to be here. I know what I'm doing, right? And then when I'm unhinged, I feel a little bit naked. I'm like, hey, yeah, that's like my giant cock. Sorry.
Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr.
There's
Hyde?
no Hyde.
No shit.
Yeah, bro.
What have you learned about me since we met? I'm curious to know. You knew who I was before we met, you know, like a surface level, right? I mean, you watched InfoWars, so you saw me when I was on.
I think you're a hell of a lot funnier. You complain a little bit more than I thought you would.
I
thought you were
too much.
I thought you were the strong, don't ask, don't tell.
I am strong.
Just strong and silent.
I'm strong as fuck, bro.
But you're just strong and loud sometimes. But yeah, other than that, you're a stand-up guy. I'd want you on my jury trial if I did something real bad. You know? Thank you, Honey Badger, for the super chat. He says, keep the energy. Oh, we couldn't stop if we tried. This is Chase Unhinged. You might see a Harriola pop out of that suit jacket.
No, I'm not that unhinged.
Not today?
The first week of not being on Adderall, I'm very unhinged.
Yeah.
I'm terrible in traffic. I'm not nice to my family. I'm mean to my friends, and I show my boobs. But
they got your phone number. They got your Harriola.
The second week of unhinged, it's a different form. I'm not as productive as I would like to be during the day, but I still have that creative flair. The third week of unhinged, I start hearing music in my head.
Is this the third week?
Yeah, we're getting there. I was a musician, you know. I thought I was going to be a record producer. I went to college for audio engineering for it. It was because I didn't take any Adderall in high school or in college for that matter. And I hear music. And I thought I had to be a musician because I can fucking play music and I hear music. And that happens about 3 weeks without Adderall. I hear music and I start wanting to make music again. And then I remember that being an artist is for fags and we're in the end times. And then I start medicating again, like Pervitin style, right? And I'm ready to invade Poland in 2 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, this is my German ancestry. Like right here, I'm supposed to be on amphetamines just taking over all of Europe, all of Western civilization to the extent that it's possible. I'm supposed to be going to war in the information war against all that is evil. Fuck the piano. Fuck the watercolors. I don't want to be an artist anymore. I just want to go to war. That's what happens in week 3 of Chase Without Adderall.
Should we cut to the first clip in light of that? Clip 100.
Since diplomacy did not work out.
Okay, what's your point, Bak? Why did that clip strike your fancy?
Well, those were strikes that happened over the weekend. You can already see the escalation happening. They were using older, this is my analysis right here. Iran was using older missiles in their stockpiles.
1999 era.
Yeah, like Scud missiles. It'd be one for one, wouldn't have MERV warheads in it, wouldn't be armed as sophisticated as they are now. But if you've seen what happened last night till today, they've been hitting... They hit a Patriot battery, which is supposed to be the most protected asset over...
Tell me about what Patriot batteries are, how they're protected, what the deal is. How expensive they are, if you know.
Yeah, the proto-technology to what the Golden Dome is, basically like a primitive Golden Dome, is what is the umbrella of air defense for assets like ATACMS missile systems, Patriot's battery systems, and that's how we force project from the ground. Patriot systems are our most advanced missile launchers, essentially. And it takes a whole battalion of troops to arm them, work them, rearm them.
How many troops are in a battalion?
I think something like 200.
I'm not trying to throw you curveballs.
40 in a platoon. I believe 200 in a battalion, if my math is correct. And these are our most protected ground assets. And if you can hit a Patriot missile system, you can hit damn near anything that's on the ground.
If you can hit your wife, you can hit anyone.
It's like a domestic battery charge.
Okay, so... a battalion is roughly 10 to 20 times larger than a platoon. Platoon, 30 to 50 troops. Battalion, 300 to 1,000 troops.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought a battalion was like 200.
And you're sure that it takes a whole battalion to deal with the Patriot missile battery?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, let's find out. How many troops to maintain and operate a Patriot missile battery? We'll get the truth here. We're going to get to the bottom. The reason I ask is because one of the criticisms of the United States in this war with Iran is that though we can impose more damage than Iran, our cost per hit point is astronomically higher than Iran's cost.
Oh, much higher.
Right? And so they can beat us by just, basically wearing us around. So, all right. It's complicated. Approximately 90 soldiers is the short answer.
So it's half, roughly, of a battalion.
Yeah, half, a third.
And is that one Patriot battery?
Yeah, so a U.S. Army Patriot battery, the basic firing unit, is authorized roughly 85 to 90 soldiers. Multiple official sources, Congressional Research Service, U.S. Army doctrine references, and DoD briefings consistently state a Patriot battery consists of about 90 soldiers. How the personnel break down: battery headquarters, 15 to 20, fire control platoon, 20 to 30, launcher platoon, 30 to 40. Maintenance and support is the remaining number. Only 3 soldiers are required inside the engagement control station to actually fight the battery in combat: tactical control officer, tactical control assistant, and communications operator. For continuous 24-hour operations, the battery needs multiple crews, typically 3 shifts for the ECS and supporting elements. The full 90-person strength covers in placing and displacing the radar, launchers, and generators, routine and organized level maintenance, missile reloading, security, logistics, and command and control, sustained operations over days/weeks. Minimum to operate in combat, 3 soldiers, but the full battery strength to maintain and operate 90 troops. The number can vary slightly with modified tables of organization and equipment, MTOE, whether the battery has 6 or 8 launchers, or if it is task organized with extra maintenance and security elements. So you're right. I mean, this is an astronomically expensive piece of military gear for us to operate and use. And it's being destroyed successfully by the Iranians.
Well, yeah, I guess my numbers are off. My old tickers and what it used to be.
But you're not really off. Like the spirit of what you're saying is true.
Oh, it's a massive investment.
We just fucking nailed the details.
It's
just
the
now.
logistics.
I wasn't trying to call you out.
No,
or
of
anything.
course,
You just want to
bro.
nail it,
I'm going off the top of the dome here. This is freestyle 8 Mile. I'm Rabbit. You ever see 8 Mile?
Fuck yeah, Mom spaghetti.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Mom spaghetti.
Vomit on the sweater already.
Mom spaghetti.
Thank you, SRT, for the super chat. He says, "I'll show Chase a double-edged sword."
I love that.
I think he's referring to his penis. So, if you're Iran and you're escalating to the next generation of missile systems you have, and one of the first targets you strike is a Patriot missile battery, that's not good for any troops in the region. And the difficulty is when we invaded Iraq, we staged in neighboring countries and then crossed the border. We don't even have these logistics in place. So if the U.S., like I'm hearing, is going to conduct a ground invasion in concurrent with Kurdish troops essentially coming into Western Iran, where are we going to stage? Where are we going to bring in the logistics chain, which takes months to set up? Unless they already have it. That could very well be the case. And are they safe?
Sense. Today,
Tell me what the average is in Hawaii.
I don't know. That'd be a pretty high average, though. But when they tell you gas is $90 or $100 a barrel, that's not quite an accurate portrayal because that's pretty much the spot price out of the ground. That's not with all the added costs when you ship it. So if you're looking at $90 to $100 a barrel, you're really looking at $120 to $130 a barrel when it's all said and done. So they like to play these fucking little games all the time, but that's a misnomer. Is that the correct word?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's not quite an accurate portrayal. You're always gonna have to tack on $20 to $30 to the cost. That's just what it is after they pump it and refine it, not when they ship it, and not the cost added when they sell it to you.
Well, and there's the fact that the impact on the market is latent. So
Meaning what? Like
when the
lagging?
cost per when the cost per barrel goes down, maybe it'll be a month before you see the prices actually dip.
Oh, of course. And they're not even telling you, like, those prices are based off the futures market a lot of the times. That's what people's contracts are. The raw
oil
commodity.
futures. Yep.
Not your price when you go to use it to get to work, to get your groceries, to get the kids from soccer practice.
So my understanding is that the reason they were lying about the number of U.S. deaths in this conflict was not so much a PR move, since the number is small, but because they didn't want to indicate to Iran that they had their targeting correct. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have some deception in the fog of war, for sure. And I'm sure Iranian casualties are sky high. We've severely degraded their military. I said this on another broadcast. The U.S. will always maintain escalation dominance, but the Iranians have strategic dominance here. Their conditions for victory are so much different than our conditions for victory. We have to go in there at a force ratio of 3 to 1, 4 to 1. We have to take and hold the ground. We have to dismantle every single decentralized military bunker.
It's like that famous song by The Doors, 5 to 1. 5 to 1, baby. 1 in 5. No one here gets out alive. It's about Vietnam. We just kept sending bodies in. Kept sending bodies in, yeah.
Their conditions for victory are just to hold on until the political will of the United States is sapped, our inventories are low, and when China and Russia also help tip the balance in their favor by escalating in their own theaters of war.
Iran's judiciary/forensic medicine authority reported 3,500 dead June 23rd of 2026. Those are the latest numbers from Iran.
What do you think? If they're
10,
lying
000.
too, yeah,
10,
probably 10,000. Yeah, I would imagine. And these casualty figures were over the weekend.
Most of those were COVID deaths.
We're already up to 18 reported and 100 wounded. I don't know if you've seen any of.
We're probably at like 1,000 dead.
We're probably, yeah.
I know people who have their sons over there right now that are like 7 days without food and water in constant combat.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're getting some reporting from on the ground?
We have special forces on the ground in Iran, and it's not being disclosed to the public. Correct. I know people personally. I'm not going to say who, but I definitely personally know people that the public doesn't even know. These are just private citizens whose sons are overseas in special forces, and they are in constant combat with very intermittent communication to the United States. And, I mean, this was months ago, but they'd been on the ground for weeks. I think they went 10 days without food or water.
Well, how do you go 10 days without water?
I mean, 10 days without more food or water. Right?
Okay.
So they probably had like whatever they went in
And they
with.
just ration the shit out of it?
Yeah.
Remember when we were hearing about the Kurds and then Contact called and said his contacts in Erbil, northern Iraq, they're not even engaging? Because Kurdistan, like all the autonomous Kurdish territories and the different Kurdish militias, they're not even like in sync. So I would be under the impression that Green Berets are embedded with these Kurdish units that are in Western Iran.
100%.
And they're using the Kurds as a cutout.
Shit, man. I know guys that are private contractor snipers that just get dropped in the middle of Africa with $10,000 in cash in a duffel bag, and they're just supposed to have to execute a hit. I mean, we're doing formal military operations all over the world at all times in a violent way, but they use private contractors when they don't want it to be on the books that the military is formally involved.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's been a thing since the days of Blackwater.
Yeah. It goes back to I think it goes back to Vietnam. Yeah, Korea even.
And we're not the only ones that do that. Russia does that. China does that. All great powers do that.
Yeah. Do you think Russia used private contractors?
Believe it or not. Patrick Burns
Did
went
you
over
see
there
any
and said
trafficking or any shit when you were there? Did you even see anybody under the age of 18 when you were there? Did you see like kids playing in the playground or anything like that?
So when you go to Ukraine, it's a lot like the major cities. There's escorts advertising everywhere.
It's legal?
I don't know if it's legal or not. It's just a thing. I'm sure it's just like Vegas. Like there's just so much of it. You try to keep it off the strip, but they can't even. You know. I don't think there's like an open brothel, but you see cards everywhere. You see posters, pieces of paper advertising prostitutes everywhere. Every city I went into had this shit thrown all over the ground on telephone poles. You see women coming and going. Like when every hotel I stayed at, I seen women coming and going, getting picked up, dropped off by
tens.
I don't remember. I wasn't looking too hard like that. I was just fixated on how much burnt out infrastructure there was. Air raid sirens going off every night.
The last thing on your mind were the hookers.
Yeah, I didn't go over there to do any of that either. I went over there to sell a lot of my surplus military equipment because they needed it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I went over there. I brought some stuff I had, liquidated it. I made a big mistake when I was prepping. I don't want you guys to make this mistake either if you're prepping. Focus on the evergreen stuff. Focus on like the water filters, the canned food, the ammo. You don't need to go out and buy 4th generation PVS-14 nods because they already have nods with a thermal overlay. Like if the boog doesn't kick off in 4 or 5 years, you're going to be sitting there with outdated nods that you spent 5 racks, 6 racks, 7 racks on. And then
I don't even know what a nod is.
Night vision goggles.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, I had PVS-14s. They were already super outdated. But I went out there. I got like 2,000 equivalent in Grivna USD for it. And I was happy. Went over there, got rid of some of my old scopes and shit like that too. None of it breaking ITAR, by the way. All of it. Just...
What's breaking ITAR mean?
Like there's certain equipment you can't bring over there.
Oh, ITAR's a type of regulation?
Yeah.
International Trade of Arms.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Okay.
So there were no ITAR violations. Thank you, Serious Machines, for the $10 super chat. It says, respect for calling out how American the movie Rockstar is. I highly
Yes!
recommend showing Bak Is This Love by Whitesnake. Start at the 2:45 mark. He might get it then. Love y'all. I should have never read this super chat.
Oh, bro.
But I am obligated to. Thank you.
You are in for a fucking
Serious
treat,
Machines.
dude.
I don't think we should make this the music episode, but if Serious Machines wants it, he's going to get it.
Yeah, dude.
You can raise a family. You can have a family unit on a minimum wage job and have a secret family on the side that you hid and put them in an apartment.
Doesn't even break the bank.
know?
Mama doesn't even notice.
$100 is like a week's worth of groceries. I remember when a week's worth of groceries was like $80, $50, dude. You remember those days?
Yeah, when I was in college, I could live off of $40 a week on food.
Yeah.
I was buying cheap stuff like tortillas and shredded cheese and making, cheese quesadillas and stuff and ramen and hot dogs.
Now you
and
go
beans
and bring,
and rice, a lot of beans and rice in college.
You bring
$40
Chase to fucking Chipotle, it's $40.
I remember my grocery bill was like $41.24 every single week at Target.
Really? At Target?
At Target.
That's bougie, too.
I know. I was going to Target because it was closer to my house and I was spending a little bit extra for the convenience.
I remember you could stretch $60 at Market Basket back in the day and you'd get more value for your dollar.
I remember one time I was so broke that I didn't have enough money to pay to get my car out of a parking garage here in Nashville.
Nah, really?
15 years ago, I had to call
That was
somebody to
that
give me a ride.
Last week?
No, I was like 22.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I remember when you could get 5 Junior Bacons before Dragon Ball Z.
to protect global shipping. But other countries need to begin to step up and provide, whether it's hardware or financing, to help carry that burden. It is not the United States.
Oh my God, dude, this audio.
Yeah, I don't think...
We got to be careful with the tarmac footage. It's Alex's fault this time.
Clear. So let me just read you what Rubio said.
See, he's pissed too.
It didn't sound so
Rubio,
bad.
He's pissed about it too.
asked other countries to help the
It
U.S.
wasn't my
Quote,
update.
we're trying
I'm
to
not mad at
protect
the crew.
global shipping. The other countries need to step up and carry out the burden. It is not the United States' job to protect the entire planet forever. Well, why did we follow Israel in and do this when Iran had passed a law last June, 14 months ago, saying that if we struck them in a big way, they were going to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But this is the telling thing. Now, that's the most pertinent thing to be talking about. The more U.S. soldiers die, the more there'll be a call from the domestic population to turn the place into glass, to do something about this.
So you think that the military-industrial complex has incentive to at least accurately, but perhaps overly report the number of American casualties as a way to garner domestic support for the conflict? Because to me, it actually seems like the obvious, or the opposite rather, that the more Americans are dying in this conflict, the more pushback the administration will get. Kind of like with Vietnam, it was like the more people who died over there, the more domestically unpopular the war became.
Yes, but there's stages to how you deploy. It's all about political framing. So before the ground invasion, if we were to lose 100 troops in a very tragic missile attack, and that was blasted across the airwaves, and it's still relatively early in the war, the call for blood's going to be there. It's when you lose 50,000 and it's hit the 10th year mark that you're exhausted.
I think what it's going to take for them to get the support that they want for this war is it's going to take a domestic terrorist attack.
I think that's coming.
That'll do it.
Without a doubt, that's coming.
But us just sending people over there to die for reasons we're not really sure why, that's a recipe for disaster for the administration and the Republican Party, I think.
Have you been reading Trump's comments? For every soldier that dies, they will pay dearly.
Yeah, but we don't care about killing 1,000 Iranians for every one American soldier that dies. We don't want any American soldiers to die. There's not really a domestic desire or will for just ambiguously massacring Iranians.
No, it won't even be reported.
Not until they've actually struck us domestically. You know, nobody gave a fuck about Islam in 2000. But after 2001, everyone's like, yeah, we're on terror. Bring them all down. Fucking Saturday Night Live sketches making fun of them, all that stuff.
No, but you game theory this out further. So we're not going to broadcast. They're not even going to
just say game theory?
Of course, our favorite thing to do. They're not going to accurately report. They have every incentive not to. We're not going to show mass slaughter of Iranians. What we're going to show are power plants being blown up, rail yards, train tracks, docks, all sorts of infrastructure. And then in a tit-for-tat escalation, the Iranians are never going to stop. They're like, oh, well, what's stopping us now from going full war mode right now? We don't have our civilian infrastructure left, but we have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these missile stockpiles left.
Let's educate the audience on game theory.
Hold on. He's gone. Is it the longest straw or the shortest straw?
I think the shortest straw is it.
Okay. Can we play clip 105? And this has been the recent tit-for-tat exchange between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis.
Yeah, I know it's my fault, but I couldn't pay attention to any part of that clip because it was so fucking boring.
That's all right. I'm going to give the breakdown
I'm
right
not
now.
blaming you.
No,
I'm
of
sure
course
the
not.
clip was relevant, but I fucking hated it.
So there's two straits you need to keep an eye on here. And as of July 20th, 2026,
There's Steven Bak. There's Steven Bak and Chase Geiser. They're the two straits you need to pay attention to.
Anyways, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels announced a maritime embargo on Saudi Arabia, which Saudi Aramco, which we helped build, is one of the most extensive oil fields and refining plants in the world. And if you're going to do an embargo on Saudi Arabia, you're essentially, that's like a casus belli. Like that's
it's like putting an embargo on Walmart. Everybody's just fucked.
Yeah, everyone shops at Walmart at some point. Doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor. You're going on vacation in the summer, you're gonna stop into a Walmart because it's ubiquitous. It's fucking everywhere. So the two straits, if you thought the Strait of Hormuz was bad enough, they're going to choke point and block off Bab al-Mandab Strait. I always just thought it was al-Mandab Strait. And that is arguably even more economically vital because that's the strait that Saudi Arabia has been shipping most of their oil out of in light of what's been happening through the Strait of Hormuz. So you're going to get 2 blockages, and you're going to get a third one if you have high cholesterol. Thank you. I didn't know if that was going to... I mean, it's just a never-ending death spiral. We're hitting freaking nuclear power plants
So
over
what
there.
happens if we just kill them all?
I think that's where this is going because as this keeps escalating...
Then who runs the Middle East and all the oil refineries and all the infrastructure? If we kill all of them, what happens?
Well, number one, you'll never kill all of them. But what will happen is this escalates so far for us to maintain and keep escalation dominance, it's going to have to go into the nuclear inventory.
You said something the other day that was interesting, but I can't quite remember. We have escalation dominance. They have what dominance?
Strategic dominance.
What does that mean?
That means it's the same thing as what you're seeing play out in Vietnam. There's lessons to be learned there. It's almost the same type of political situation. So the conditions for victory for Iran are so much different than the conditions for victory for the Western Allied forces.
Right. It's not like a well-balanced war where the conditions for victory are they take our capital and our conditions for victory is we take their capital.
Exactly.
It's totally different.
Tehran can get leveled. All they have to do is maintain their bunkers that are decentralized all throughout the mountains of Iran. And they've already decentralized their command structure. They've already decentralized their armaments. Even if there was a cohesive government in Iran, if you bomb and obliterate this to pieces, there's going to be elements of the IRGC that will never accept a ceasefire, will never accept peace. Even if a new Ayatollah was installed, it was like, okay, guys, the country's leveled, we have to get peace. Well, now it's so far gone down this road, we don't care to ever stop. We have nothing left.
Right. They've got
what country am I going to return to? But
right.
I am sitting here on 10,000 MIRVs. I am sitting here on nuclear weapons. How about I never stop? Because my family's dead. And all the way from the Strait of Hormuz up through Persia, all the way through the Caucasus regions, right to Ukraine.
Is this where the strait is right here?
Yeah, it's like 600 miles, I believe,
And
for our
stretching up.
viewers. And yeah, that was such a good graphic. I'm trying to get better on Canva so I can make graphics like this too. But it's all one energy world war. And it cuts right through the Belt and Road Initiative. It's going to suck in every major regional and superpower.
General areas being hit.
Like, look at that. Thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot, for the super chat. He says the power plant wasn't even finished being built yet. It was literally just a big piece of dirt. Yeah, I did read that Iran only had one functioning one in the whole southern part of their country. It's gone. Like, if we're willing to hit a nuclear power plant full willy-nilly.
The Russians hit Chernobyl pretty much full willy-nilly. I guess they didn't destroy the containment facility, but they hit it.
Yeah, that's such a bad escalation. That's such a bad sign. Like, you could fuck up a bombardment. You could hit the fuel cores. You can cause a meltdown. What happens then? Who's going to contain all the nuclear dust? Who's going to contain the fallout?
Right. There's no infrastructure in place locally to take care of it. So you have to bring in
you would
NATO.
have to have like a UN humanitarian team of experts of all the nuclear.
Everybody agrees to a ceasefire,
exactly.
fix it, then we'll fight again.
Like, yeah, you're about to poison all the fresh water. This thing's going to run out to the sea. Like, you could lose everything. And it just shows that all caution is starting to be thrown to the wind. It's just such a very dangerous time to live in. Thank you, Leroy45 Long, for the super chat. He says, what up, fellas? Alex Jones was right. I got an Alex Jones was right jar, and I've been filling it full of quarters.
Mm-hmm. Shit, there's one at the Timcast studio. I filled it with a quarter.
You didn't fill it with a quarter.
I put a quarter in
You
there.
put a quarter in.
Yeah, it had money in there, though. I just loved that they had it.
Hell yeah, bro. You know Tim loves Alex.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
I
bro?
really respect Tim a lot. He catches a lot of flack, but I had a great fucking time.
You had a good time. He was cool to us this time.
Well, you've been on there for 3 times now. I was my first time there. I had a great fucking experience.
Yeah, he spent like thousands of dollars flying me out there. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I would just take the money and not come.
Yeah, can you imagine, dude? That was a good Holiday Inn too.
I like being on the show. Yeah, it's fun. The
Little
Taco Bell was great.
Yeah. What a great American
Remember when
experience.
I ate like 10 tacos
and
in
that
one
was
night?
pre-Cyclospora.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I haven't had diarrhea in a long time.
Remember they just kept showing Taco Bell, like,
So we go to this fucking Taco Bell, and we don't have a car because we're there as visitors, and they won't let us walk through the drive-thru. Have you guys ever encountered this where you just happen to be walking past a fast food joint at, I don't know, 10 p.m.? You don't have your car. You're with your boys. So you just try to walk through. I'm trying to trigger the fucking car sensor to awaken the speaker to take our order, and it won't trigger. I'm like, oh, obviously I'm not enough mass. So we walk through up to the window.
We even went nut to butt, like pretending to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. We knock. Yeah, we did. We knock on the window. They open it up. There's this white dude who's like, I don't know, in his 20s, and we're like, bro, can you just fucking take a walk-up order? And he's like, man. And his manager, who's like a Karen behind him.
No, some sea hag.
She's pushing 40s. She's like, no. He's like, I tell you what, man. You can place an order on the app and we'll bring it to the window on the other side of the building. So we wait outside for seriously 40 fucking minutes. They bring the tacos. I eat 90% of them. And the next day I'm Timcast. I look like a fat fuck. Ever since then, I've been eating less than 20 grams of carbs a day. I think I lost like 20 pounds.
I had a bad weekend and I'm on a sodium bomb right now.
Yeah, what'd you do this weekend?
I ate a bunch of pepperoncinis.
Dude, you watched the entire Hunger Games series this weekend.
I volunteer as tribute. Yeah, it was super
How many
inspirational, bro.
were there total? Because there's two parts to the last one, right?
Yep. There's 4 Hunger Games, and then there's one about the President Snow.
That's like a prequel?
Yeah.
And you watched the prequel too?
I watched all the Hunger Games.
So there's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 1, part 3, part 2, and then the prequel.
Yeah, I'm about to go get a bow and arrow. I feel like
you
Katniss.
watched 5 Hunger Games movies this weekend. That's like 15 hours worth of Hunger Games, right?
Are you coming to the tree? Strange things have happened. I'll hang you on my tree. Thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot, for the super chat. His retirement is being funded by the jar.
Hold on, I want to hear more about like what compelled you to watch the Hunger Games entire catalog in one weekend. How was it in the middle of the night? Was it in the middle of the day? Were you eating and drinking while you did it, or were you just like stoic watching? I mean, was this like a religious experience for you? I'm not trying to like
no,
I'm not trying to like make butter out of what cream here. I'm genuinely fascinated that you were able to just as an adult man watch the entire Hunger Games catalog in one weekend.
Well,
keep going.
When you are a single 36-year-old male, just at your friend's house, and you're thinking about Katniss Everspleen, and then you hear the Hanging Tree song, you go, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't I?
So you heard
watch
the
this?
song, and you were like, I gotta watch all of them.
Well, no, if I heard Alex break down the UN districts and why they're building the smart cities, and if you know anything about what Mr. Beast is pushing into the future, it's going to be a sacrifice economy based on austerity. So when these smart cities, like, the FEMA districts now,
Yeah.
that's going to be like District 1 through 12 in the capital.
Yes.
This Pan Am, all that
One
shit.
district's responsible for agriculture, another one's responsible for carpentry, the other one's responsible for clothing, the other one's responsible for water filtration,
Yup,
right?
there is no freedom of association. There's no freedom of travel. It's an authoritarian system, top-down control, resource extraction. That's your 15, 30-minute smart cities. That's your AI surveillance grid. They're going to work you, not because they even need your labor at that point, because they don't want you to have any extra calories or energy for revolt. So human labor, I actually changed my thesis watching this. It's not going to go away. You're going to work harder than you've ever worked. You're just never going to keep it. And they're going to resource extract from your community. And yeah, you're going to be confined to whatever your district is. And then you'll be doing this. I pledge myself as
Which
tribute.
one's the best?
Oh, the first one, without a doubt.
It's not even close?
Yeah.
Why? Because it world builds? It just sets up the world so it's exciting and new, and holy shit, that's an interesting take on dystopia.
No, it's because Katniss Everspleen.
She's in all of them, though. She's hot in all of them. So.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lawrence kind of, after a few years of Jennifer Lawrence, you're like, bleh.
No way,
But when
man.
you watch the
Jennifer... She was super hot in, like, American Hustle.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Silver Linings Playbook.
I'll Sophie Cunningham the shit out of you. That's your opinion.
So you think she was only hot in the first one?
It's not about being hot. It's about, holy shit, she just volunteered as tribute. Holy shit, she's the whacking everything with that bow and arrow. I've never seen a woman like this. But then after you're like Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, you're like, wow.
How does it end?
It ends with her killing President Coyne. Remember?
I thought
District
Snow.
13? No, she doesn't kill Snow. The mob kills President Snow. The whole allegory is so pertinent to what's going on today. We're seeing the rise of Flock, Deflocked, the rebellion. You know they're going to crush whatever the rebellion is.
It's crazy, though, because when you watch the Hunger Games, you realize how desperate people have to get before they rebel. Like, these people endured generations upon generations in this story of a lottery where their youngest, starting at the age of like 12 or younger, and there might not even been a minimum age, recruited to just basically die in an arena. And they're just like, gotta let it roll.
You know about Ian Fleming, right? In 007?
The guy that wrote all the James Bond books?
Yeah, so the typical way disclosure happens for anyone that was involved in intelligence and things like that is they'll write a book about it, and they'll make the characters fictional. But the stories...
Kind of like James Comey did with that book where he had Alex Jones as the main character.
I didn't know that.
Dude, when he retired, he wrote a fictional book that's like a Jack Ryan-esque book. And the main villain is a character that's obviously based off of Alex Jones. And it's all fiction.
No, I thought, remember when that reporter was going around trying to get his life story? I'm going to shout out these super chats real quick. Thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot. Who's streaming the Wild series? I've never heard of that, but I'll look into that tonight. Because me and Chase are having a sleepover and getting some work done.
Yeah, Bach's moving in with me for 2 weeks, guys, to work on the network.
Mm-hmm. And watch his dog. I think it's mostly about watching his dog.
No, it's mostly about the network.
The network, we got some work to do. Mushi, thank you so much for the $50 super chat.
Holy
he says,
shit.
Buy some Taco Bell and XRP, boys. God bless y'all. Clarity.
Hell yeah! If you want to beat me, then fuck you too!
The only thing holding back me and Mushi's bag is the Clarity fucking act.
Don't forget the point you were trying to make about Ian Fleming.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my ADHD kicked in. Thank you, Colby, for the super chat.
Damn, Colby, that cougar supporting us still.
Yep, Colby's a great supporter of the show. Thank you guys so much. Is Flock name meant to be like a shepherd? I never thought about it. I always thought that was like a herd.
You must tend to your flock, and every once in a while chase off the wolves.
Thank you, Mr. C, for another super chat. Wow, very generous tonight, guys. We really appreciate y'all. I meant the Wild series, lol. I've never heard of it. Thank you, Honey Badger, for the super chat. As a middle schooler, I thought Mitt Romney looked like the president in The Purge.
Yeah. Best president of any movie.
That Mormon motherfucker.
Was the guy from Spaceballs that played the president in Mars Attacks. No, Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. So what I liked about the Hunger Games was that dude, whoever wrote that with the whole Pan Am and all that stuff, they knew what the smart city plan was, and they knew what the future economy is going to be. Ian Fleming, all these guys who write 007, like a lot. The merit of fiction novels is you get a real flavor and color of what happens in real
Nathaniel
life.
Hawthorne wrote that fiction is a lie that tells the truth.
What was 1984?
George Orwell, fiction.
Yeah,
but
which
it
was a
told the
pen
truth.
name. What was his real name?
I don't know.
George Orwell was a pen name. He was British intelligence.
Yeah, he was a socialist.
Yeah, he knew all about what the Fabian socialists were into. He knew all about what the plan was. Even wasn't his cousin?
I'm a Labian socialist.
You're a labia socialist.
Yeah,
but his cousin
everybody's
wrote
pussy's
Brave New
everybody.
World.
Aldous Huxley was his cousin?
I believe so.
Bullshit.
They're related.
No way.
How do you not know this?
Let's find out.
So, I think it comes down to they're honoring the metaphysical rules that God put into place that you're going to warn them, which is why we get these fiction novels, these movies.
And Aldous Huxley wrote The Doors of Perception, which is what the band The Doors is based off of.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. He took a shit ton of LSD on his deathbed. Or mescaline. I can't remember which.
Should we play? Are you looking up if Aldous Huxley?
No, George Orwell and Aldous Huxley were not cousins or related by blood in any close way.
What?
They just wrote similar books. 1917 to 18, Aldous Huxley briefly taught French at Eton College. One of his students was a teenage Eric Arthur Blair, who later took the pen name George Orwell. So Aldous Huxley was a professor who taught briefly George Orwell. Orwell later remembered Huxley as having an impressive vocabulary. Decades later, 1949, after 1984 was published, Huxley wrote Orwell a famous letter comparing their two dystopian novels, Brave New World versus 1984. They had a literary/intellectual acquaintance, but no family tie.
Gay.
But hey, we got to the bottom of it, dude.
Yeah, we got to the bottom of it.
The difference between us and CNN is that we fact check on the dime and we get it right.
Yeah,
right
well,
away.
I just give you things that I heard, and
I know.
think
I love that
remember.
about you, dude. You're doing perfect.
Maybe I am retarded.
What are we supposed to play next?
Let's go.
There's Kyiv clips. There's Yemeni clips. There's Russia clips. We know everything's escalating everywhere. We know.
But you don't want to see it? Can we at least play 111? We can see what the bombardment. This was the largest bombardment of Kyiv yet, and they've been hammering Kyiv. That's a capital city, mind you.
I kind of like it. Are you chicken
Coming
salad
to the
soup?
tree. I'll hang you on my tree. When was the last time you seen that in a place like New York or Boston or Miami or Las Vegas? That's what's so great about our country. Any one of our major cities could be a capital city in any other part of the world.
Yep.
You know, and we are so blessed to have so many of them, and now they're just so full of shit and
Well, the
piss.
capital of Texas was the capital of a nation at one point in time. So, you know, Texas was its own republic for like 10 years before it joined the Union.
Yeah, it wasn't the capital of our nation, though.
That's what I'm saying, though. The capital, Austin, Texas, was the capital of the Republic of Texas, and then they converted it to the capital of the state.
Yeah, when the next civil war happens, the break off of Texas, they already have their own bullion bank. They have an independent trade deal
We
with
talked
India.
about this, bro. The states aren't going to secede. It's going to be rural communities versus urban communities. It's not going to be clean.
Well, that's your guess.
I know.
I don't agree
It's
with
not going
that.
to be a clean state secession because the states are too financially dependent on the federal government. It's a completely different power dynamic.
I don't think you'll be a clean secession like the North versus the South. But to think that
You think it'll be like checkered?
the states that are doing well are not going to want to keep subsidizing and funding places like California or places like Colorado that adopt liberal socialist policies and just are a sinkhole of money. So to think that certain states aren't going to break off from the union, I think that's crazy. I do agree there will be balkanization like urban versus rural.
Herbal versus Gerbil.
Yeah, but it's not to think that no states will secede. I think that's a crazy analysis.
Well, I'm crazy and I'm correct. You'll see.
Cuba is going to be back in the spotlight.
You think Cuba's going to be the 51st state?
No, I think that Cuba has.
I think we're going to make Cuba a state.
I'm not in the habit of agreeing with Jeb Pussyboy Bush, but
Low energy Jeb.
I think the intelligence assessments that they're hosting Iranian weapons, especially Shahed drones. Why wouldn't they? You don't think you think Iran's so stupid that they decentralized all their military infrastructure, all their armaments, and that they didn't give any to any of their partner nations? Do you think Cuba has Shahed drones?
I think I'm an accelerationist.
That time will come. That time's rapidly approaching. We're on the horizon of that. We're in the beginning stages of.
Do you think that the approach to the climax is exponential and increased velocity or linear? Do you think the closer we get to it, the faster it comes?
I think that accelerationism, it goes hand in hand with austerity. And when you collapse the economy and you have a whole digital economy ready for that moment and an AI surveillance grid and a stable coin system, digital dollar ready for that, they're ready. They're about to militarize
Think they're
every
already ready? Or should we try to collapse it before the post-collapse infrastructure is
No,
established?
because we only hurt ourselves. We don't have the deep earth bunkers. We don't have all the FEMA system ready in place with the emergency management system. So we only hurt ourselves by buying ourselves less time to prepare.
So we should postpone the collapse of this world order as long as possible while we prepare for the inevitable collapse.
Yes, because we need to. Well, remember Bundy Ranch? Remember Clive Bundy?
Yeah.
And they ran off the Bureau of Land Management?
Yeah.
And they came back to arrest him later?
Yeah.
If we're seen to be taking the first shot, then we give them an advantage to frame us as rogue terrorists. But when it's blatantly obvious, if we've been funding ourselves and blasting the airwaves and trying to get some sort of informational awareness of the situation in place ahead of the collapse that's coming anyways, the onus is on them to prove they're the good guys, not on us anymore. If we
But they could just false flag it.
Yeah, that's an ace they had up their sleeve anyways. But austerity,
We should false flag their attack.
no, it's going to be impossible to do that.
No.
They have the eagle eye systems in place. What are you talking about? We're going to know when their false flag is impending, and then we're going to false
Get
flag the
several
false
people
flag.
to dress up like military personnel.
That makes us the same thing as the Israelis in the USS Liberty. I'm not willing to shed innocent blood to get whatever accelerationism I think is.
Let's just let them win.
No, it's not about letting them win.
You
It's
just wanna
coming
let them
either
win.
way.
You just want to let them win.
Not at all. We need to have the moral high ground.
You love the deep state.
I love the deep state.
Yeah. Steven Deep State Bak.
Maybe I'm a federal informant and I won your trust because I'm going to compromise this whole network. And every super chat's going to Jeb Bush. And not a Lord Baldwin costume.
Well, you can't live in my house the next 2 weeks without a warrant.
I don't want to live in your house the next 2 weeks without a warrant.
All right, what's next?
You invited me, dog. Do you want to cover 113? ICE arrested.
Fine.
This was,
The U.S. is
I believe, a
targeting
month
Cuba's
ago.
military-linked financial network. ICE Homeland Security investigations have arrested the sister of a senior executive at the military-controlled Geiser conglomerate. NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on the move.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Adis Las Tres Morera was aiding
those
Havana's
pantalones.
communist regime until he
got a
terminated
dump
her
truck on
permanent
her,
U.S.
huh?
resident status. Authorities say her sister is a top executive in Gaesa, the
Which is a
military-run
business
Cuban
cartel that
business
runs
empire
Cuba.
that controls a large share of the country's economy and overseas assets. ICE says the sister is
Look how old
responsible
those
for
cars are.
managing what it calls Gaesa's internationally held illicit assets. ICE saying the organization's revenues total more than 3 times the Cuban regime's budget. It says the money was funneled to hidden overseas bank accounts, while everyday Cubans continued to suffer under the country's communist rule.
Thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot, for the super chat. He says, Uncle Alex talked about the Western states that are going to leave the Union, and Newsom even talked about it once. He called it the Western Alliance. I do remember when he referred to it as the Western Alliance. So,
Straight from the movie Civil War.
yeah, straight from the... You can see all the scripting, central casting right there. But why we're talking about Cuba is the acceleration in Iran is going to go hand in hand with the toppling or the attempted toppling of Cuba. Because it was Cuba with its intelligence capacity, funded and fueled by Russia and China, they were over Venezuela. So Venezuela was really like a little brother to Cuba, and they're both like little brothers to Iran. Because if you look, Iran dominated. There was 3 big main big players in oil: Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Venezuela. Which is what?
Do you think there's going to be a battle at DC?
Battle? No, because taking a capital is symbolic.
Did you see the movie Civil War?
Yeah.
Let's watch that.
Most of our heavy lift capacity, most of our high-tech stuff is deployed overseas. But you would essentially see the armament in the armories of each state's National Guard. So you would see Chinooks.
Do you think the National Guards would actually, rather than obeying federal orders, they'd line up and rebel under the right circumstances?
Yeah, because National Guards pretty much, like, you're going to see Coast Guard, National Guard, federal agencies. That's what's domestic over here. The Marine Corps. Now, this is me game theorying and playing it out. They're going to want every military-age male out of the country. So they're going to initiate some sort of war in a foreign theater for us to die over
and then
there.
engage conscription to get us out?
Yes. So after that, you would see the Civil War break out, and you're going to see soldiers leave their posts because it's not just about what equipment you have. It's, can you make payroll? Can you make salary for these soldiers to man their posts? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So one stick rebellion here. Okay, well, we're going to essentially be looters and scavengers in some sort of official capacity using the armament at hand, the oil stockpile at hand, like the diesel tanks, the gasoline tanks. And then that's when you'll start to see state-on-state warfare using whatever was staged in the local armory in that state. So you will see Humvees, you will see helicopters, you might even see F-15s, because that's what's used over here, F-16s. Domestically, maybe even some F-22 Raptors. But a lot of that shit, that high-tech weaponry is going to be abandoned in the field overseas once they can't meet payroll. Something probably akin to what you saw in Afghanistan. Which is why I'm such a big proponent of let's just focus on our hemisphere. Let's bring all our weapons back. We don't need to spread our forces so thinly and to maintain the empire. We can be like what the Holy Roman Empire was, the eastern half.
Man, it's crazy. I watch these YouTube channels when I go to sleep that are like history to fall asleep to, or fall asleep to 5th century Britain. Like the most boring shit ever, but interesting, right? Because my problem is whenever I make the decision to go to sleep, I feel like I'm giving up on the day. So I always postpone and push off going to sleep. I hate it, right? And so when I do finally lay down to go to sleep, I have to at least put something informative or educational on for me to listen to. That way I feel like as I slip into sleep, I'm still like fighting to the last second. So I'll watch a Candace episode, or I'll watch a Joe Rogan episode, or I'll watch the Y-Files, which has been one of my favorites lately. Or I'll watch, fall asleep to British history, or, facts about the universe to fall asleep to. And it'll be like a 3-hour video where it's some boring narrator quietly whispering the details of the difference between a supernova and, whatever, right? And I was listening to, and we talked about this a little bit on the last broadcast, but I was listening to how Britain became Britain. And it primarily focused on 5th and 6th and 7th century Britain. And during 5th century Britain, I believe it is, so the 400s, it was either the 400s or the 500s AD, there's only like half a dozen pieces of writing, primarily letters, that indicate at all what the fuck was going on in Britain during the time. That, coupled with archaeological digs and DNA tests, have allowed historians to kind of piece together what happened. But the reason it's so fascinating, dude, is because we're coming up on the end of the Roman Empire. Britain was occupied by Rome, controlled, maintained, and defended systematically by Rome for decades, if not centuries, right? And then as the Roman Empire began to experience serious entropy, they withdrew their forces for other purposes, right? Whether it was an expansion somewhere else, or Rome was about to get sacked here, right? And so Britain was still technically under the auspice of the Roman Empire for a period of time without any real Roman presence. And then there was the Dark Ages, where there's like no written shit. And they know because of archaeological issues and letters from some of the leadership in Britain back to Rome asking for defense and support, that the Saxons were invading Britain, and the local Brits ultimately did not end up becoming much of what Britain is today. It's mostly like the Britain that we know from like Braveheart or from the Patriot, like Britain, not Muslim Britain like today, but the Britain that we know is mostly Saxon, which apparently I didn't even realize this is like a completely different people than, the Romanian or the Roman Brits. And it's just so fascinating to me to see, I don't know what my original point was bringing this up, but to see what happens to different geographical strongholds or areas that were formerly under the sophisticated formal order and control of an empire, when that order withdraws, there's a latency in that there's like half a century or a century where just kind of by habit and momentum, the same order is maintained, even though the actual enforcement isn't there anymore. And then it just fucking descends. So there are like the archaeologists have been able to discover that in Britain during this time. A lot of the forts and strongholds were maintained for a period, and then that maintenance waned, but they were occupied for a period, and then finally they weren't occupied at all, and they were just left to ruin. A lot of the myths about King Arthur and where he was born, all that stuff goes back to like strongholds are mentioned that were formerly occupied and run, and ports that were run in like an abundant and prosperous way by Rome. But there's no real evidence that Arthur was ever born there. There's not even really certain evidence that Arthur ever existed. But even, a few hundred years after the fact, British writers have myths that are attributed to these places that were later, based on archaeological research, determined to have been actually substantial and significant strongholds of power in the region, right? So the people have like this zeitgeist, this epigenetic memory of what the nation was like under an empire that no longer exists, and they're not even literate. They don't even really remember or know about that empire anymore. But this still like it saturates their myths and their stories. Then I just wonder if, as the United States continues down this parallel path of entropy, parallel to the entropy that we saw from the Roman Empire and so many other empires that have come and gone throughout written history, I wonder if there will be places geographically, domestically here in the United States, not just like when we left Afghanistan and it slipped away, and when we leave Iraq, and it's just so positively Roman the way that we did that. But I wonder if there will be places within the United States of America, stateside, domestically, in North America, on this continent, that are just totally abandoned by the federal government and for a period of time are American in name only, and then practically not at all, and then only mythically so.
Oh, I'm going to shout these super chats out, and then I'm going to have a little rebuttal. Not even a rebuttal, further analysis.
Response, yeah.
Brittany Dishong 4333, thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Emoji of peace, emoji of love. Thank you so much, Brittany. We really appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot, for re-upping your membership to the YouTube channel.
Hell yeah!
Our history has been hijacked by the elites who are hiding what we are all truly capable of. If we knew who we really are, they could never control us, of course. And one little thing, too, guys. If you could subscribe and turn on your notifications.
Yeah, turn those notifications
on. Yeah, I was looking at our dashboard. We have
only 5% of our subscribers have notifications turned on, so they don't even know if we go live.
Yep. So you'll know if you turn on your notifications. America is every one of these great societies started with an idea. What did Rome bring? They brought a republican form of government. Correct. How was Britain started? The Magna Carta. Correct. A king is not an absolute king anymore. You're going to have to share power. So you see a spark in a certain area. Politically, most times, the Republic, the Magna Carta, and then it leads to a great formation of power, right? And then you see the decline when authoritarianism and tyranny comes back. America, same thing here. It's an idea. You can't tax us without due representation. We're not going to be disarmed. We're not going to have political speech censored. It was a formation of ideas that led to a great centralization and decentralization of power, ironically. So America, with the technologies here today, we don't have to be coast to coast. We don't have to own from Maine to California. You could have an area the size of Rhode Island.
You could have an area the size of Israel and control most of the world.
Exactly. We don't need to.
We should establish our own diaspora where we just have influence in various governments throughout the world by just going over there, having a family, creating a little America community.
If we just withdraw our military might to our hemisphere and we focus on innovation driven through business, and we have an off-ramp from, we've never experienced pure capitalism since the formation of the American Republic. We've never been a pure constitutional republic with the introduction of federalism by Hamilton. If we could just realize the great ideas of the forefathers of this country, that's enough to save the United States of America. We don't have to be this military hammer that controls the whole planet. We have all the necessary ingredients for America 2.0. With the technological capabilities and the advancements that were made today, if we just minded our own fucking business for 10 years and just went away from crony capitalism and oligarchy to pure free market capitalism, then we could recover. It'd be like a whole new root system and branch being grown off of.
A whole new root system.
Exactly. So we have never even realized the great ideals of the forefathers of this nation.
Don't you think that's fucking wild about Britain, though? Like, just hearing about, like, for a whole 100 years, there's only, like, 6 letters remaining. And the whole place was, like, a robust, prosperous, successful part of the Roman Empire for a period of time. It's just so fucking wild how we went into the Dark Ages.
Well, I have weird theories on that all. I don't think that...
What are your weird theories?
I think that a lot of the Renaissance era painters started showing motherfucking UFOs and shit in a lot of their paintings. And I don't think the Black Plague was organic. It was probably a biological weapon.
No fucking way, dude.
I think so. Well, you asked me for my opinion.
No,
that's my freaking opinion.
I know, and I'm saying no fucking way not to try to get you to shut up. I'm trying to get you to, like, drive it home.
And then I think that
I'm trying to provoke you to, like, double down on it.
I think these people saw a lot of technology in things that they couldn't explain, so they got superstitious, so they started killing the fucking cats, and then that led to a huge explosion in the rodent population, and at the same time a biological weapon was released. Because if you read the history of the Black Plague, it showed up almost simultaneously across like 3 continents.
Yeah.
So this wasn't
and why would it show up simultaneously in isolated pockets?
Exactly, dude. So I think these flying saucers came through and they're like, Genghis Khan, you get some Black
Hold on,
Plague.
watch this shit. I've never heard this before. If you're really, really into UFOs, then you've probably already seen these 5 artworks. What? The Crucifixion of Christ, unknown artist. All right, there he is. Yeah, I've seen it. It's famous. UFO on the right, meteor strike on the left. They got dudes flying them. Is this what you're talking about, this shit right here?
Some of it, yeah.
Hold on. The baptism of Christ. They get older. All right, obviously UFO looking. What? No way. I knew about UFOs depicted in ancient art, but not Renaissance art.
Oh, it was
The
everywhere,
Madonna.
bro.
Okay, what do we have here? Are they going to point to that black dot? Dude's looking up. Shit's happening in the sky. The Annunciation with Saint Emetius, Carlo Crivelli. Yeah, another beam of fucking UFO light. So you don't think that was like a symbol for the Holy Spirit appearing in the sky as maybe depicted in the Book of Revelation?
No, because these show up in pagan paintings. These show up in societies who didn't have any sort of
Why has he got a triangle
enlightenment.
behind his head?
They show up in Indian, Vedic myths. They show up everywhere, and a lot around the same time period too.
But I want to show you 15 more that also have UFOs. I'm going to mute this music. It's irritating.
I liked it.
It's okay.
The bells.
I see some UFOs in this one. Top left, top right.
It's in tapestry. What is that, a Persian rug?
I don't know. What is that shit? Israel, put your hope in the Lord. Unknown artist. Obviously UFO looking. Looks like a shell, but it looks like a flying saucer.
Looks like a flying
too.
clam.
It does. I dated a girl who had a flying clam. She was a pilot. Medallion from the same century shows the same UFO. Wild. Miracle of the Snow. Mezzalino da Pinacale.
Pinacali.
Wow. Okay. It's all over. It's all over Renaissance art.
And
Settled.
it seems like every time we go into a turning or a new cycle, there's a rash of all sorts of foreign exotic technology. Then the people get superstitious, and then they go into like some sort of witch hunt.
So do you think that we're about ready to hit witch hunt status now? It's the Freemasons. It's the Jews. It's the Jesuits, right? Alex from
Witch
Michigan?
hunts look different in each cycle, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that we're preemptively getting ahead of this with the UFO disclosure shit because we're in the 4th turning now, the new industrial revolution, and that we have these technologies and things that we can't account for or even mitigate also have these technologies. And we have a more primitive version. So they're trying to replay the same cycle to maintain control. And they already have the fallback safe system with their deep underground continuity of government bunkers and all this shit. And this is just played out in history over and over again. Thank you, Mr. C USA Patriot, for the super chat. He says, it's chocked full of alien shit. So that's where I think.
Alex from Michigan, is it the Jesuits?
Did you just pull him up as speaker?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. In case it's the Black Pope and the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta and the Knights Templar who are...
All right. I just wanted to give him a second.
No, you should let him talk, bro.
No, he's done.
Alex, I'm so sorry. We'll pull you up to be speaker again. We're not taking guests right now.
$500 super chat to let you host the show for an hour.
Alex, we're gonna call on you again. We don't take us guest speakers until like 10 usually.
I just want him to get used
Dude, you can't let him start cooking and then cut him off like that.
You can because I've let him cook so many times.
I like Alex, dude. He's a good dude. Can we hit clip 115?
Yeah.
This is
people at harm's way.
So, just to put a bookend on the Iran war subject, that was the first hook.
You'd be the only one able to do it.
Yeah. You see more hubris, and you see us going for the ground invasion because this might be one silver lining in not having as many men die as Vietnam. Is that, you know how a long time ago they said the Iranians have all these speedboats? Like when they captured our soldiers under Obama, and that they don't really have, per se, like a navy like we have with frigates and corvettes and destroyers and aircraft carriers. They put most of their investment into autonomous drones, into speedboats. We're doing the same thing. So they think that we could replay this book with a new wrinkle, replay the old ground invasion thing, because most of it, you might actually see the combat robots be deployed here, along with SF special advisors, along with a contingent of troops, but not as many as we would normally commit to a ground invasion. So I'm kind of been combing through X, like seeing if I could see these autonomous speedboats. They've used them for the 2 downed Apache pilots that got rescued. And I didn't know this. He's saying that they used it for the port strike we just did last week. That was done autonomous. So this could be the rise of the T-100s now, if they look back in the history books at this day and age. Let's move it forward to, did you go on Twitter? Fuck you. Oh, you're not in the military. Yeah, I know, bro. But he's fucking was in SEAL Team 6. He's, I'm sure, killed double-digit fucking people.
Fucking lapel mic exploded.
Like, come on, bro. He's asking questions. A lot of the experts are asking questions. But you want to yell at me with your little Twitter fingers when I ask some fucking questions. When I say a 30-06 isn't going to have an entrance wound like that. It's not going to be a wound channel looking like that. Would have blew out the back of his fucking neck. Right?
Right.
All right. This was really more for the people I was arguing with on X. That clip. Should we move to 117? Did you guys see the size of that cocaine rock that fell out of Robbie Williams' nose?
No, we're live.
Robbie, come in and join us.
After he performed as part of the pre-game closing ceremony, Robbie Williams was unexpectedly back on live TV post World Cup final game, and it only took Robbie a few seconds to create a viral moment.
They really deserve the whole thing tonight.
Did you notice it? Yeah, so something white fell onto the microphone. Robbie noticed it and was quick to remove it. It went viral Sunday night, so Robbie was quick to address it Monday morning.
Just like to apologise for the object that fell.
Why would you apologise for
onto
that?
the microphone.
You always double down.
Yesterday.
You always double
After
down.
Robbie had it in his hand, he happened to scratch his head, leaving the white particle in his hairline.
It was deeply
Why wouldn't you just drop it on the floor?
It was just Spain, completely right from the beginning.
So he did the opening musical act for the World Cup, and then he just crashed the set. And a huge Zelensky-esque rock fell out of his nose, and then he picked it up off the microphone and scratched his head and got stuck to his hairline for the rest of the interview. How funny is that, dude?
I don't even know who the fuck that is, dude.
He's like a big pop singer like 10 years ago.
What was his hit?
I couldn't tell you. I know he tried. Dude, how funny is that, though? I had to include that in the clip lineup today.
Yeah, dude, that's the only World Cup.
And then he woke up in the Apollo.
That clip is more entertaining than the entire World Cup. You know? Rock DJ, is that his big hit?
No, I don't know. Rock DJ?
Millennium? Candy? Parents' input. What's your response?
Knocking over the fudge. I don't give a fuck, dude. And I don't even have Hawaiian on. I'm Korean, but I've attended other people's holiday dinners and done shit like this. And then, but you know what the crazy thing is? I still get the invite every year. I still get the motherfucking invite.
You ruin other people's Thanksgiving?
Well, I don't ruin. I enhance it. Hence the next year's invite.
So if I invite you to Thanksgiving this year and my family starts giving me a bunch of shit, what do you do?
I start sticking my fingers in the hors d'oeuvres. Lisain al-Gaib! You're wrong. You're all wrong. Apologize. Be like, you're such a fucking... But shut the fuck up, Karen. I'm already dead inside.
This music video is still fucking playing.
Can we play clip 118? Mamdani said he was going to arrest Netanyahu if he comes to New York.
Fuck.
When it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we're speaking about someone who's the subject of an international criminal court arrest warrant. And he's the subject of this arrest warrant for alleged crimes against humanity, for war crimes, and he's the architect of the genocide against Palestinians in Gaza as Israel's prime minister. These are not facts of my personal assessment, they are facts of public record. And I believe that when someone is charged with an international criminal court warrant, it's something that should be taken seriously, whether it's Benjamin Netanyahu or it's Vladimir Putin or whomever else. What I've also made clear is that my administration will follow all applicable local laws. That is our commitment. That is something that we will follow through on when it comes to an adherence to local law. And that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to Heather from News 12.
Are you looking
So he's
at
basically saying
arresting anybody else
Netanyahu's
on that
a
list?
criminal, but my hands are tied by local law, so I'm not going to arrest him myself. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this is for public consumption.
Right.
But it's such an interesting dynamic where I absolutely hate this motherfucker's guts.
Oh, he's smooth.
But the dialectic between the Zionists and the
he's smooth.
Muslims, it's just funny to see them spar with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I bet if he could get away with it, like it's Trump's defending Netanyahu. He made a statement immediately after, no, don't you worry. It's not going to happen. He won't even try it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than, I didn't watch a single soccer match in FIFA. I would watch that, him sparring with Netanyahu all fucking day.
All right. Nicaraguan president, no more elections. Okay, obviously they're falling.
Yeah.
Andy Burnham sworn in. Who cares?
No, we should play that.
Okay, let's do it.
He's a pedo protector.
With me. Let's build a new national sense of unity, of common purpose and positivity. Let us make this the moment when Britain starts to believe again.
Two important things to take away from this clip. If you heard what he said in the beginning, I've accepted the king's invitation to form a government.
Yes.
King Charles is still in charge of the Canadian charter. Obviously, the UK and all the governments under control there, like Scotland, the south of Ireland. And I believe still even to this day, Australia and New Zealand. This man runs these countries. He's still the king. There still is a monarchy system in place.
Kind of.
Yeah, so they're managers. They're managers. It's still down to the king's decision. Do you remember when Canada, do you know what they call their federal land?
No.
They call it I just had this on the tip of my tongue. It's essentially the king's forest still, is what I'm getting at. So the King Charles is still in charge of a lot of the Five Eyes countries, more or less. Those are governments in name only. That's for public consumption. There is some sort of democratization, obviously you got to say, but it's more of a managerial class. And the second thing is, if he has to publicly, you've heard how many presidents, prime ministers that they've went through in the last 10 years. What was it, 6 in 10 years or something like that?
It looks like they call it federal crown land.
Federal crown land, that's what it is.
Provincial crown land.
Yeah. What's the main keyword there?
It's crown land.
Yeah,
crown.
exactly. That's King Charles's forest. Robin Hood. You don't get any deer. You don't get any venison. But you do get an alpha gal tick because we'll drop them on you. But the second point I was trying to make is Europe 100% is going to go far right. They have a sliver of hope, a very narrow window. But I don't think it's enough to stop all the NGOs flooding their countries. Just shooting AKs off the rooftops into downtown
Muslim gangs shooting AKs off the rooftops
in
into
France.
downtown France. Into
They
Paris.
have all their weaponry in place, bro.
You can't get a fucking AK in France.
You 100% can.
I mean, I know you can, but you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's for the French.
Right.
That's not for the Arab invaders. The ones peddling drugs, the ones fueled with drug money, the ones, fueled with the sex trafficking money. You can 100% sneak Albanian, Czech AKs over
what
the
I mean
border.
is you can't legitimately get an AK-47 in France.
So you have the native population complying, and you have all these foreign invaders that are arming themselves to the teeth. That's why I think even if Europe goes far right, they probably won't be able to win this next incoming civil war that's going to affect the whole EU. Because they're fed up within Sweden, they're fed up within Brussels, they're fed up within Germany, they're fed up within most of the EU nations. The only one that really stands a chance is Poland and Hungary, because they've kept them out for the most part. Their populations are mostly homogenous,
Sure.
Thank you, Deus Volt, 1776.
Nice. Nailed it.
He says PDF maxing. Oh, for sure they are PDF maxing. They've never not been PDF maxing for like the last 20 years. So we'll put an end. That's international politics. Let's get into 121.
Okay, I'm going to play this clip.
Yes.
I'm going to fill up my drink, so if I'm not back in time.
Oh, I'm going to do a breakdown on it.
You do a breakdown, all right?
I need to learn how to work the clipboard, though.
You're fine.
Kate Rooney kicks things off for us with the very latest on this heated race. So much back.
Some of these cutting-edge AI models out of China that got a lot of buzz over the weekend on Twitter, Cal.
So I don't know if you guys are big into AI. I've been using a shit ton of Claude Code to make the editing apps. I have the 5X subscription, so I don't really worry about token count. But that's how they measure AI usage is token count. And I don't know if you guys heard about Mythos. They made a big hoopla about it. Oh, we sandboxed it. This is very dangerous. It was supposed to be the most powerful model, essentially, that the U.S. has as a frontier model, leading the way. But if Moonshot, which was a very little-known Chinese lab, can overtake ChatGPT's Codex, can overtake Gemini, can overtake all of these big AI companies that have hundreds of billions of dollars poured into this, the whole data center infrastructure, and they can outperform Fable 5, which just got released to the public at this point. If Fable 5 was supposed to be the best model in the world, and it outperformed Fable 5 at this tech conference recently, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's now the number 2 model. And then you see Alibaba close on its heels, and then DeepSeek, and you saw the disruption it did to the AI economy last year. There's 2 models happening right now, and I put a tweet out about it yesterday. The U.S., with its alleged technological superiority, was gatekeeping AI. There's a lot of guardrails on it, and to the top, they want your data. They want your prompts, they want your queries, and they want to see what you're building with it. So whatever is the dominant...
Well, and plus they want to pull the rug out from under the existing AI companies that are developing the latest and greatest technology.
And then they'll raise the price later, of course. This is the Chinese model. And the weird thing about this is China didn't even have to steal a lot. They do have really brilliant engineers. They graduate...
Send them to college here.
So many STEM graduates every single year. It's like 10 to 1 what they graduate. So they're not always getting this from stealing US IP, even though they do that. They're outperforming and outdeveloping us because they're giving this free to use in a lot of cases, open source, and they'll be the dominant model in Latin America, in Africa, in all of Asia, probably here in the US, because they're giving this shit away and they're getting informational dominance. Like when you have all the queries, the search terms, the prompts, everything people are building with it, and you're subsidizing it, and then you're bankrupting the massive investment the U.S. has, you're going to be the dominant player. But
let's play your Fable 5 clip.
Okay.
Since Moonshot released its K3 model last week, everyone's debating what it really means. Does more efficient AI mean less hardware? Is China closing the gap faster than we expected? Where does AI's real value ultimately accrue? Joining us now is Crosslink Capital partner Mary D'Onofrio, focused on venture growth investments, but across software, AI,
Jesus,
and
that's
infrastructure.
another one that looks like bad breath. She looks like
for the
acrylic
last 3
paint.
days, I've said Kimmy K3 many times. But it was interesting to
You might
take
be right.
a sort of straw poll.
Is that a man?
VCs,
No, I
founders,
just made a guess.
people
No,
in
dude,
industry
hold on.
of how they react to it so
Look
differently.
closely.
Some people are very fearful,
That
defensive.
dude doesn't know how to shut the
Others say
fuck up.
this is very good for AI as a whole. Very difficult job first thing on a Monday, but your reaction to what happened?
Well, Kimmy K3,
That's a
as
woman.
you said, was phenomenal, and it's similar to the DeepSeek moment we had last year. Right. 2.8 trillion parameter model, and what it demonstrates, I think, is that China and open weight models are closing the gap with frontier models.
So Fable 5, I just got done with a trial like a week and a half ago. Now it's, as of last week, open to the public. And then what happens? Bang, Moonshot with Kimmy 3. Bang, Alibaba hot on its fucking heels. And DeepSeek's about to release a new updated model too.
Yeah, DeepSeek was the early competitor of ChatGPT.
Oh, that was like a shot across the bow, remember? When DeepSeek came up, like the whole tech industry was shook. So we might see this bubble pop sooner than later, actually. And then you marry this with quantum compute, which is another $1 trillion investment the U.S. has in quantum compute. But the one thing is China won't be able to give quantum compute away because to run a quantum computer takes an enormous amount of energy. It's such a fragile machine.
We should not underestimate the potential for either China's or the United States military-industrial complex to have the technology to generate an astronomical amount of energy using non-traditional means.
Well, quantum compute would be, you could solve.
Yeah, but quantum computing in zero-point energy, different, right? I mean, related, right? So what I'm saying is just because quantum computing traditionally is said to demand a tremendous amount of electricity, doesn't necessarily matter if there is, top secret technology that generates
breakaway
it.
civilization technology.
Yeah.
Of course. What's the old adage that the U.S. military is 2 generations ahead of what's
maybe
released
there's
to the public?
maybe there's a nuclear plant we don't know about under Yellowstone, or that'd be retarded. But you know what I'm saying? That's that they just
Well, no.
infinite.
To back up what you're saying, Germany just recently released a quantum computer that doesn't need to be chilled.
You can operate at room temp.
Yes.
How?
I watched a video on it. And
Is that
I looked
true?
into-
It's not bullshit?
No, it's true. You can look it up. It came out of a German university. A room temperature quantum computer, which normally a lot of the energy resource comes to keeping it chilled. So the electrons.
Yeah. And, I mean, even Antarctica isn't cold enough. So like they're talking about outer space for these quantum computers and shit.
Mhm. And then I'm pretty sure China got its hands on some of that technology too. At this point, did it pull it up?
It didn't. Posy installs first room temperature on-premise quantum computer in a supercomputing center. I don't know what Posy is. P-A-W-S-E-Y. Is that a German university or?
From what my research,
Let's
it was
see.
a German lab that, yeah.
So this is a promo for a quantum computer, allegedly.
Okay, wow. So this is a world first room temperature quantum processor.
It's been an incredible journey.
Company's called Patriot.
The only best way to describe it, I was there at the very beginning, and now here at the start off of the next.
Well, so
great
it looks like the
phase.
Brits
We're
might
able
have
to
something like it,
assemble
too.
An amazing team. Of
We
people
have it, too,
from
for
around
sure.
the world. Realize
And you know Israel's probably got it, too.
Was to build the quantum computer, and then also work with the other half of the vision, which was to put it inside a supercomputer. We all engaged at various levels with the wonderful people that caused it to make that second half.
They're wearing masks and shit too, so this must have been around the pandemic era.
No, you have to wear that type of equipment when you're in a quantum lab anyway.
Oh, really? Because there's so many microparticles.
A single amount of dust, dude, could fuck up a quantum
You
computer.
have actually physically installed a
Theoretically.
quantum system from the lab, translate it into a product, and helped a company do the productization journey and see real benefits for the local staff to go,
Okay, so it's a
this
promo
is
for a
what
fucking room temp quantum computer.
Yeah,
Get
but
it.
like the advancements are just moving so fucking quick, dude.
So how long do you think the government's been using quantum computing? Patriot
Probably-
Act era?
Yeah, probably
Era-
20
era-
years, dude. Anything that makes it out to the public, they're generations ahead. So that's my wrap up on the AI arms race. Should we get into some domestic news? Like, did you guys see that attack on the federal building? It wasn't much of an attack, but
What clip number?
clip 123.
Now from the FBI, they have taken a man
Get
into
some
custody
braces,
after
bitch.
he allegedly set off an
Yeah, I would.
incendiary device outside of
I'd
a
still hit
federal
it, too.
building in Lower Manhattan. We've been on this breaking news
You know
for a
the
couple
top
of
half of her
hours
face
now,
doesn't move?
and now some new details. Video of the incident shows smoke billowing onto the sidewalk. Officers tackled that man before handcuffing him and leading him away.
And then here's some footage of someone that was in, I'm guessing their apartment.
Guys, oh my God! Oh my God!
That is not how you start a building on
No,
fire.
of course not. He's a complete fucking retard, obviously.
Oh my God! Get away from there!
Obviously, some domesticated cat
It's
lady.
really good to hear that lady yell into the microphone.
That's all right. We can cut it down.
No, it's hilarious. It's
I cut it short,
You
too.
think anybody's listening other than your cat and the people that live on either side of you?
No, of course not. She's a
I'd be like-
complete fucking retard. But so I played the Cuban clip. You remember that trip that Hassan took?
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
At the invitation of the Cuban government?
Yes.
And how he's affiliated with an NGO?
Yeah, the lesbian one, right?
Yeah. This could be a network of Cuban intelligence, because I've been reading into this, a lot of them are getting wrapped up. Karen Bass has been getting a hard look because of this. It's well known she's a Cuban intelligence asset. And as this war with Iran goes hot, I just find it very coincidental, interesting timing that you hear talk about the drones, you see this trip with Hassan, and then we see some sort of loose affiliation with groups like Antifa.
Luciferian relation.
Mm-hmm. Some people would say that.
Which clip?
Clip 124, El Mayo, life sentence.
El Mayo was the world's single biggest drug trafficker this century. He joins fellow cartel leader Joaquim El Chapo Guzman in serving a life sentence following El Chapo's conviction here in Brooklyn in 2019. Over 3 decades, El Mayo and El Chapo built the Sinaloa cartel into the largest drug trafficking organization that the world has ever seen. This criminal empire flooded the United States and the world with deadly drugs, earned billions of dollars in profits, and then laundered those billions through the financial system. A life sentence, cut off from family, cut off from freedom, cut off from the outside world, is fitting punishment for the harm that El Mayo has caused to countless victims. During El Mayo's control of the cartel, tens of thousands of parents lost children to addiction, overdose, and drug-related violence.
So you remember when Marco Rubio was in that cabinet meeting maybe about 2 months ago, and he said with Pete Hegseth that they're going to war with all the cartels?
Yes.
You saw that they broke up the Sinaloa cartel, which was a longtime asset of the CIA. You seen that El Chapo's son betrayed El Mayo, who was really like the main financier / drug pusher. The number 2 was essentially co-equal number 1 with El Chapo. You see he betrayed him and brought him on kidnapped him on a jet, essentially, when he thought he was taking a meeting with El Chapo's son.
Kind of like we did with Maduro.
Yes, something like that, but El Chapo's son. Then they turned around, the federal prosecutors turned around and said, we're not going to give you any credit for that. Right?
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard this news, but I believe it's Grok. CJNG, which is the most bloodthirsty cartel, they're the most militarized, Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generacion. They arrested one of the main commanders of that at the same time as this press release, M4. He was like the main hitter for CJNG. So we're going to war all throughout Latin America right now. And when you have Hegseth and Rubio say we're going to war with the cartels, that means we're going to war with the governments that are controlled by these cartels. So this is probably like a 15-front war. Colombia, Mexico, Nicaragua, Peru, Bolivia, Guatemala, Haiti, all the Latin American and Caribbean nations. Ties right into Cuba. So I thought that
I want to go to war with Destiny.
Which Destiny?
Why?
That one.
Oh, Destiny.
Destiny in the chat.
What's up, Destiny?
What's up, guys? Nothing much. Doing good. I saw you guys. I was like, oh shit, let me see if they have a space going. And you guys did?
Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Central.
And she popped on just in time for us to start taking speakers.
Yep.
We've been hitting it hard for 2 hours. Bach had me laughing until my eyes were watering. He was talking about why not?
I was talking about bringing up religion and politics at your every single holiday in perpetuity forever.
I like that. I can agree with that. Make it awkward. I'm a big fan of. It's a weird thing, but it's okay. I like it, and you don't have to. I like awkward silences, which you can't really fake them, and that's why I really appreciate them, because you're at the mercy of just life in that moment. Like you got to pet your friend's dog because his parents are yelling at him, and it just gets awkward. Or like somebody finds out someone's cheating at a dinner table, and you're like, oh, and it's the awkwardness. You can't fake it. So I'm a big fan of that.
I'm a big fan of what Bob said
he fucked it up. We were trying to do an awkward silence.
Yeah, that sounded oddly personal, Destiny. Thank you, John Rockets, for the GOAT trophy. Yeah,
sorry. It's okay. God forgives you for cheating.
She just hit us
All
with
right,
the awkward
Jordan.
silence.
Yeah.
We understand
Nice.
Destiny. Shit.
Touche. What's up, Jordan?
What's going on, Chase? I just
Hey,
wanted to say
are there any
one thing-
developments you can share about your legal status? Not your citizenship, but like any developments in some of that shit that came up a month ago?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. All right, congratulations. Everybody applaud for Jordan, please. We're all very happy for him.
They never talk about the wins. They only talk about the losses. So it doesn't really make a difference.
Well, I brought up the win.
Jordan beat his Fed case. Jordan beat his Fed case. I'm not going to your country club.
the first place I went to. What do you mean?
Are you still friends with Ryan Fournier?
I haven't talked to him.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Jordan. I actually have a clip so let's just play 2 more clips because Destiny can weigh in on the second clip. Clip.
Well, hold on.
Let Jordan make his thought.
Hold on. Before you play that clip, I do want to say that I do agree with you on the Fable 5 thing, right? I did like that clip a lot. The reason why I like it is that how can we expect to advance as Americans when every other country is giving away all their product for free and we get nothing? Everything we have to pay for, right? If we want people to get ahead, especially in education, we should be giving it away for free so they can advance. That I do agree with you on 1,000,000%. That is 1,000,000,000,000%.
Is that the first time you've ever agreed with Bak?
No, we agreed on the flock cameras essentially, right? We agreed on that. Yes, they should. It's an invasion of privacy, but at the same time, I also agree with you, Chase, where it's just like I have a phone in my pocket, right? So it's like, what's the difference?
Right.
So I would say we're 2 for 2 right now.
Well, the one weird thing about that, Jordan, is I believe these are temporary market conditions. The Chinese are very strategic with how they do things. So they waited for big tech to make these massive investments, and then they undercut them with their brilliant geniuses, some stolen technology. Ironically, the Chi-Coms are driving the free market forward, but there's only a certain amount of time that they're going to do that. Because once these companies are bankrupted or forced to give it away for free after they made these trillions of dollars in investment, then the Chinese will rug pull too on that and then raise their prices because they have to. Like the cost of compute, we still own the chip supply. They still have to charge somewhat. So this is only a limited season in which they can undercut the U.S. tech giants and until they collapse and they subsidize their own, but they will have to raise their prices eventually.
Okay, so I'm going to take you all the way back to the last time I saw Chase, right? So the last time I saw Chase in person was
It was
in
Jordan,
Austin, right?
me, and Roseanne Barr.
Yeah. So crazy time, right? So
It really
just at that moment, right? Right as soon as I met Roseanne, the article came out the day before that DeepSeek, the whole reason why DeepSeek they gave it away the way that they did was because they illegally imported GPUs from South Korea via fish markets in China. That's how they got all the GPUs
Sounds
in.
fishy to me.
To DeepSeek, right? That's exactly how they imported it, and that's exactly how they got DeepSeek out there, right? And everybody was shocked when it got released. I know everybody was like, whoa, wait a second, how can they release a model like this in such a short period of time without having this type of compute? Come to find out, obviously they were illegally importing them, right? But that's the whole thing. You saw, like, just how you said, look how China undercut it. They went and just said, oh, we're just going to legally import them, got them, released a frontier model that is absolutely incredible, and then just gave it away to everybody for free. And you saw what happened. ChatGPT slashed their prices, right? Now they have the subscription, $8, right? Had to slash it 50%. Grok, you get it for free pretty much, right? There's not the full version of Grok, but you get a good portion of it for pretty much next to free, right? Perplexity, same thing. And some of the like Kimi, you get a good portion, and GLM, you get a really good portion of it for free. And I just don't think that a lot of people even know, especially education wise, that they have these things available to them at all times. Like right now, I'm building while I'm talking to you. Just let it go, right? Most people don't know that you can just, do that. And I hate to quote an Elon Musk thing, but you can just do things. You know that? Like you can really just do things.
Amen.
And it's just people don't realize that yet. And I think that there's a lack in the education system, especially in IT, where everybody just kind of throws their hands up, oh, AI's taking our jobs. I don't want nothing to do with it. Versus saying, you know what? Let's take what we got and let's adapt and let's make something great. I think that level of creativity is completely gone, especially in the education system.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So my main thing was like I see a lot of I don't know if this is Chicom propaganda accounts and stuff, but on X, they'll be like, remember what Fable did to you? Remember how bad they raped you on prices, et cetera, et cetera? And I'm just over here thinking like, dude, this is only for a season. Like, they're only here because they laundered NVIDIA chips through Singapore, laundered through South Korea. Like you're saying, they were never supposed to get their hands on these GPUs, these processors in the first place. And they're only doing it to undercut the massive investment that we've put into AI, into quantum. So like they think it's going to be a free lunch forever. I'm like, hell fucking no. Once these companies are bankrupt, if that happens, you're going to see what happens with China's prices. They're going to go up to keep up with the cost of compute.
Yeah, I do. I think there's a massive the massive chip shortage that keeps continuously happening, which realistically I think is suffocated by, the 1%ers, right? I think like Foxconn, Qualcomm, and a couple other guys got fined because they found out they're just not up in their manufacturing since pre-COVID. They just left it alone, and they're like, oh, we can't produce chips, right? And that's actually I hate to say it, it's throttling America, right? But now I think there's a huge turnaround that's going to come after. I would say the last 2 months after we saw what Fable 5 did. I don't know if you guys might have the clip because it's from a previous episode, but Fable 5 cracked the NSA.
Yeah, Mythos.
And that's the whole reason why. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole reason why it was taken directly off, right? People don't realize that if you can crack the NSA, you can build anything, and that's all you have to know. That's all you have to know. As soon as I even heard that, went right. I was like, you know what? Boom, immediately. I was like, you know what? You can build anything.
Where this is going is we're going to have to take the guardrails down. Like Mike Adams was posting tweets from David Sachs, the AIs are. It's like, dude, like we can't even do cybersecurity with these fucking guardrails in place.
Here's 15 seconds.
When the head of the NSA and Cyber Command came and said, this tool broke into almost all of our classified systems, not in weeks, but in hours.
It's Mythos. Fable 5.
Yeah, you're going to have to allow the meth recipes. Anything short of biological weapons or chemical weapons recipes, it needs to go no holds barred because China is no holds barred. They don't have guardrails in place like we have. Like we get these nerfed down models, which are great for making thumbnails or editing clips. I'm not complaining, but we're going to be left in the fucking dust if we don't take these guardrails down like ASAP. And even David Sachs knows it.
I think that's the part. I think that part is what scares not only the citizens, but I think it also scares like the government because they also know, they have to know that if it can do this, then it can do this, right? Or it can attack us this way. That's the bad part.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to get into these last two clips. I don't know if you guys heard, NORAD airspace got penetrated today like 10 times. Clip 125.
You want to switch abruptly from AI to NORAD airspace?
Yeah, well, this is important, dude.
I am okay with that because
launched F-16 fighter jets Sunday to intercept multiple aircraft that violated temporary flight restrictions over New Jersey. Officials confirmed that over 10 general aviation aircraft entered restricted airspace over Bedminster and East Rutherford, requiring NORAD jets to perform 3 separate intercepts. During 2 of the intercepts, military aircraft dispensed flares to gain the pilot's attention. NORAD confirmed that all violating aircraft were safely escorted out of the restricted zones without incident.
A hostile adversary testing our airspace and
to check
taking all the data.
flight notices prior to departure. This video is sponsored by Safety.
That's fucking wild. Yeah, I got it.
So that's something to keep an eye on, especially with the hostilities escalating. And then this
Earth
is kind of
discovery. Here we go for fun.
This is
the
for
search
destiny.
for life beyond Earth has marked a new discovery.
It has an Earth-like atmosphere. Is fucking like the size of like 10 Earths. Essentially, it's an exoplanet. It's fucking massive.
Yeah, it's close.
And he thinks it's common. So now you can see maybe the Disclosure Project with Elon wanting to go to Mars. Dude, there could be a bunch of Earth-like planets everywhere. What do you think about that, Destiny?
Well, they find them all the time. There's like Escalates 117b or whatever she's called it. That's not too far away as well. Similar size to Earth, similar and it's always orbiting a nearby star in its habitable zone. But the real question is, could you ever get there?
No.
They what you say, 40 something, 46 light years or something.
49 million.
49 light years away. Yeah. Okay. Let's think about that, light years. I mean, it would take a lifetime almost. I mean, obviously not a lifetime, but it would take a long time.
You have to go, you got to plant the eggs, and you got to let the eggs grow.
No, well, that's where we're using this based off of chemical rocketry, chemical fuel. I'm under the impression we can open wormholes.
Yeah, wormholes, yeah, but laws of physics, you can't go faster than light speed, but you might be able to bend space-time in such a way that you can skip.
These UFOs go faster than the speed of light.
I don't think
I
so.
hate to tell you, you can use, I think, an EM drive, if you know what that is. I think that is feasible and doable, but not probably in the next 10 years.
Well, if we're talking that, we might as well just use an Einstein-Rosen bridge.
I mean, the EM drive is actually doable. Like, it's actually buildable. The difference is that we just don't, everybody's very scared to go put nuclear stuff in space, where if we blow it up, next thing you know, the planet goes out of orbit. Right?
It's not nuclear. It's red mercury, and it's a whole different type of electromagnetic. It's like a gravity propulsion engine. I forgot the term for electrodrivitism or something. I sound like a freaking idiot right now, but it's electrodrivitics.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to try these different forms of traveling faster than the speed of light to be able to do this. Like, the furthest that we can.
Well, I predict we will soon. We will soon. If people understood the different projects throughout the government right now that are unprecedented in terms of energy projects. We have plutonium programs. We have uranium programs. These are for the first time in 50, 70 years for some of these different elements. And we're utilizing small modular nuclear reactors here in the United States.
Yeah,
many
and that
of
just
them,
started. That just started.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying so I see this as going probably that it won't take long for this, of course, to trickle in. And actually, it already has trickled into aerospace, because a lot of the companies doing the uranium and the plutonium, a lot of them are part aerospace companies, and they work for aerospace
dude,
companies.
Destiny, I think there's a strong chance that Lockheed Skunk Works has done it already.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Skunk Works. If I bet anything on that SR-71 Blackbird and that SR-72, I put money that they've done it already. And the difference is that they just know that if you have the ability to do it, who wants to go? And
Could they just fix teleporting? I just want it to be teleport. That answers all the problems.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Explain how I move matter from one place to another without seeing it. It's very hard. I can't put that into into an equation.
Here's a clip of the director, allegedly, of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works personal letters revealing the shocking UFO knowledge. Check this out.
Quote,
45 seconds.
Things flying in the Nevada desert that are 50 years beyond what you could comprehend. If you've seen it on Star Wars or Star Trek, we've been there, done that, or decided it wasn't worth the effort. So that's coming from Ben Rich. Ben Rich headed the Skunk Works between 1975 and 1991. This is the original letter from Ben Rich on Lockheed Advanced Aeronautics Company letterhead. I am a believer, and so is Kelly Johnson. And here it says, Dear Ben, there are two categories. A, man-made UFOs. B, extraterrestrial UFOs. Dear John, yes, I'm a believer in both categories. I feel everything is possible. Many of our man-made UFOs were unfunded opportunities. In both categories, there are lots of kooks and charlatans. Be cautious, Ben Rich.
Wow.
Yeah.
Skunk Works.
Elon Musk is a disclosure project. That's what he is. He's being fronted by the government. He's probably brilliant.
He always acts like UFOs aren't legitimate.
I predicted that. I swear, I'm gonna toss it in the nest. I wrote a paper. No, it wasn't a bingo card. When I first got on X, I had this funny. I have a great imagination. You really can't compete with it, right? So I wrote this story, this fantasy story I came up with in my head. It was after the Twitter files, and Elon had just bought X, and I came up with this little theory of why that actually happened, and that's exactly what the story is about. You're gonna love it. It's based on the X files. It's fantastic.
Well, there's a reason why he merged X with SpaceX. XAI, dude, they're already doing quantum teleportation.
By the way, I just got access to X money today.
Yeah, Destiny complains about the X payout. Just hold on a little bit longer. You know they're about to expand X money, and you know that they're gonna do streams. They're gonna heavily monetize X. Like they're coming for YouTube's throat right now.
Let's wrap it, Bacchus.
All right, I'm gonna shout out these super chats. Thank you for the star, which is 2 Joules, humble hashmaker. I still don't understand what that means. Thank you, Honey Badger, for the $5 super chat. Is it time for some solar flares to shut it down? You guys need to be following Destiny. She's a nerd. She has these dashboards. She does it for free. It's like the Chinese model. She is Chinese Destiny. Thank you, Z Arrow Effect, for the super chat. Information wars continue. Stay boss, America. And thank you, Mr. C, USA Patriot. They are interdimensional. No need for light speed. I've been saying that. Do you want to plug?
Go to chasegeiser.com, sign up, let me know if there's any technical issues. I believe they've been resolved. If you cannot support us financially, we understand. Please share the YouTube live streams, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications on the YouTube channel. The link to follow Steven is in my bio here on X at Real Chase Geiser. You can follow Steven Bak at Real Steven Bak. That's B-A-K for his last name. He is the name behind the show, the man behind the name of the show. Guess who's back on the Chase Geiser Network? Thank you so much for tuning in.
I'll shout out the panel.
And good luck.
Follow Jordan, follow Destiny, follow Hannah, Rance, True, and Mr. Cap, and Molly, and Lisan Al-Gaib. Thank you.
Chase Geiser Network. Subscribe.